right, Coach Harper, just opening thoughts on this weekend's tri-match against Chowan and Winston-Salem State.
Yeah, I'm glad we came out with 2 wins. Obviously, that's the goal. We knew we were in for a long day just because, the Chowan and Winston had to play each other too. But I think the break helped us kind of reset after a scrappy Chowan team that really challenged us, and then playing another scrappy Winston team that also challenged us. But I'm happy of how we were able to finish and win both games, tight situations.
That first game against Chowan was a conference win. You guys picked up your first conference win. What does that just say starting 1-0 in Conference Carolinas play?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of had that obviously in our mind that we'd be starting conference, and from here on out we'd be playing conference opponents, and that was the mentality going into that game. And I told the girls after, not necessarily before, but everybody's going to play us hard that way, and as they should, as defending champs. Every team is going to play us really, really hard, so we have to prepare for that and make sure that it's not catching us off guard, but that we play our game. And we talk before every game, we set the pace of the game, and I think that's why we were able to pull out with that win.
Both of your matches are really close today, both winning in 4, but how would you talk about your team's just composure in those tight games as they kind of kept going back and forth through each set?
Yeah, we talked about that after the Chowan game, and how composed we were. Obviously, in tight situations, we can get tense, and that's really with any team. But I think it's important for us to just kind of look each other in the eyes and just say, all right, just relax. Don't be tense, don't be passive, but still play aggressive and just take care of things on our side. And I think really all day we had to do that. We literally had to do that. So I think us coming out on the winning side of things gave us the confidence that we needed, especially in conference play.
Yeah, just adding to that question, against Winston-Salem State, Winston-Salem State seemed really aggressive. How did you like how your girls were able to respond to that aggressiveness and match that level?
Yeah, we talked about that too, not to let what they're doing catch us off guard, but we have to be able to respond. And I told our team after the game too, we were scrapping, man. I mean, they're a very, very scrappy team, and just like earlier, and I think seeing things go well on our side kind of gave us that confidence to go on runs when we really, really needed it.
You had 14 kills in tonight's match, 8 digs. How would you assess your performance tonight?
It's definitely like a great feeling because going from like high school to here is definitely like a big step up, and like you just have to be relaxed and always focus on like not trying to like make an error, but like still get them in. But don't be focused on trying not to make an error. So I mean, it's a good feeling to know that like I stuck with it and did my best to like keep it in the court, so not make any unforced errors.
And then Emma, last couple of games, your kill totals have slowly increased and maybe have leveled out. How would you evaluate your performance this weekend with just maybe stepping up when other players have had maybe move back to the sidelines?
This weekend, honestly, was a really good test for me. Since the last couple of games, I've been in the middle because we had an injured player. And so it was good to see that even after a couple games off in the middle, I could step right back in. And, I mean, the Chowan game, I had my record kills for the year. So it was good to know that I could switch back and forth and still be successful.
This question's both for Emma and Anaya. Sort of, 2 games in one day. We'll start with you, Emma. What did you like about your teammates' chemistry and the communication in the Chowan game?
In the Chowan game, we all started off, we all had a lot of energy, and we've been working on it in practice and in the locker room and stuff like that. And it was really good to see that even after we made errors, the team still had our backs on the court and on the bench.
And then in the Winston-Salem?
The Winston-Salem game was it was a lot because we had 4 sets the first game, 4 sets the second game. So it was really helpful for me to get my energy off of the bench because they were always loud and energetic.
And your takeaways on both games?
I'm like to piggyback off of Emma. Yeah, I think it's like we really have been working on like creating cheers and like bringing energy from the bench onto the court and making sure like we're keeping up the talk and communication because that just like makes everybody play better. So in the Chowan game, I think that really showed, and we just did really good.
And then, Coach, you guys have won now 2 in a row. Could have probably taken Lenore Ryan in that 5th set, but you guys starting to settle in now after those first 2 preseason tournaments. You guys are back home now for 3 straight games. You guys starting to settle back into what last year's team was like?
I hope so. We still have a lot that we have to work on, and that's going to be an ongoing thing, right? We're not necessarily shooting for perfection, but more so efficiency. So especially headed into two, I mean, just tough opponents next week. I mean, we have Francis Marion and North Greenville who challenged us both to 5-setters every time we played them last year, even with the championship team. So that's going to be a challenge for us. But you know, it's just kind of back to the grind where I challenged the girls to watch film over the weekend and heading into practice just so we can watch ourselves, and we'll focus on the other teams later because it's more about controlling what we do, not necessarily the other team.
And sort of 3 conference games this week, all on the road. Sort of, what's the mindset gotta be like, knowing that you don't know what to expect in those environments?
Yeah, I think our returners do. So hopefully they can prepare all of the newcomers for what it's going to be like playing Francis away and North Greenville away and Southern Wesleyan away, because they all have really good crowds for their games. But I mean, I think being away the first 2 tournament weekends helped us understand what it's like to play on the road. Being back home, hearing the crowd cheer for us, now it's going to be the opposite next week. So I think it was a good balance early before we go on the road next week. So.
And then sort of, your team's sort of used to the back-to-back games now, and then you guys play Belmont Abbey on Tuesday and Francis Marion on Wednesday. So how do you sort of keep your team focused on that back-to-back mentality?
Yeah, so this upcoming week we have Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, but
Okay.
it's still a quick turnaround either way. So I think I said this last time, just taking it a game at a time and focusing on one opponent at a time. And obviously when we play back to back, that's challenging for anybody, but we just got to make sure we take it a day at a time.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.